Hi everyone, my name is Phil and welcome to Phil Does 3D. I'm a multimedia and 3D artist and I stream live on Twitch on Mondays and Tuesdays at 5 p.m. Pacific time in the United States, which is 11 a.m. in Australia or 1 a.m. if you're in the UK. Remember, if you miss the live streams though, you can always catch the premiere event streams, and they're on a Friday and Saturday at 2 p.m. Pacific time in the US, which is 8 a.m. in Australia or 10 p.m. if you are in the UK. I hope all you guys and girls are well. Are you guys ready to finish this camera work for our cinematic, finally? We're going to push to get it done today. I think I've got about 4 cameras left to do. And then we're going to be done. We can start working in Premiere Pro next week, putting the cinematic together. You guys and girls were very early in chat this morning too, by the way. Way too early. Did you forget that if you're watching me from Australia that I started at 11, not 10 now, because of daylight savings starting here. Alrighty. Remember, guys and girls, as usual, if you have any questions, please feel free to pop into chat and ask me at any time. If you just want to pop into chat and say hello, that's always welcome. But if all you want to do is watch, that is completely fine. Alrighty. Let me just make sure everything here is working and going and it's all good to go. Looks good. Smurfberry barbecue time zones are an Illuminati plot. I agree. And as a streamer, they're incredibly confusing. That's why I tell you guys 5 p.m. Pacific US time all the time, because it's just easiest to remember. If I start sort of listing off the different time zones and daylight saving starting and finishing, and it just gets way too confusing, way too confusing. And I saw you got your scan done, Smurfberry, in Discord. Again, anyone that doesn't know, join the Discord server, the Phil Does 3D Discord server. You can post links there, and there's a gallery section to show up your work and all that sort of good stuff. I'll just pop the link in chat for you, or you can join at any time if you're watching this back on a Friday or a Saturday, the replay streams. If you look below my panels, below my stream, in my panels, you'll see a blue graphic that says join the Phil Does 3D Discord. Click here, click there, and that'll give you an invite link to join the server. Concept Dev, it's good to see you, Concept Dev. How are sleep patterns? As are sleep patterns, sorry. Yes, that's true. It is all an Illuminati plot. They rule the world. Shh. They'll get you. They'll come and get you. Okay, again, just checking all of this, and it all looks good. Okay. So yes, we're finishing the cameras. Hopefully finishing. I've got 4 cameras to do. We started one of them yesterday. We'll continue doing that today, and hopefully next week we can start putting it together in Premiere Pro. Again, too, if you check out my event schedule on my stream, on my Twitch channel, you can see that I've laid out all of our streams up until the end of January next year, so the next 3 months or so. That's the plan. Best laid plans, as they say, but that's the plan anyway at this stage as to what we're going to be working on and when we're going to be working on it. You guys know me, though, like I said in Discord when I posted the message, I can't stop sometimes when I start on something, so it may change a little bit, but that's what I'm aiming for. That schedule that's in my event on my Twitch channel, under my events on my Twitch channel. But we're jumping back into Unreal. We have to do a camera, or 2 cameras for our bunnies. I want the same thing we did for the eagle and for the deer, where we've got a wide shot and then we do a close-up shot of the bunnies as well. But we're working on the camera for the building at the moment. So let's do that. Oh, there it is. So the camera's placed. We didn't do any animation on it, and we were just playing with adjusting how we want the camera to look. We had to pull the camera way back to try and get the building in shot, and it's still not really properly in shot. So I'm trying to work out how we want to tackle this. Let me start my music. You guys didn't tell me my music wasn't playing yesterday. You just hate my music, don't you? You hate that EDM. Well, it's going on. If you really hate it, guys, I won't play it. But I just thought during quiet periods, it's something to listen to. Not that there are any quiet periods because I never shut up. But yeah, Concept Dev says, I have a random question for you. Do you recommend a SSD drive over a hard drive for UE4 3D work? No, not really. I don't. I have 2 SSDs in my machine and 3 hard drives, and I use the hard drive for UE4. Do I? I install the application on my SSD, but projects I work on, like this one, I put on a hard drive. So both. I recommend you install the application on an SSD, but when you create your project, I'd recommend putting it on a hard drive because they can get quite large. This project we're working on here, I think the actual whole project size, the folder is about, I think it's about 4 gigabytes. I mean, you know, you get terabyte SSDs now, but it will be constantly writing to the file, and you want to try and minimize the amount of writes to an SSD because that's what will kill them in the end, the amount of writes to them, even though today's SSDs are very good, so you won't have to worry for many, many, many years. And Smurfberry says, absolutely. I'm assuming he says the Illuminati are watching. And Charlie's Dragon. Hi, it's good to see you, Charlie's Dragon. Concept Dev says, my hard drive is on its last legs, so comparing them price-wise. Yeah, I always install my applications on an SSD. My operating system is on the SSD. I do install some games on a separate SSD as well, just games that I play regularly. Anything I don't play a lot gets installed through Steam on a hard drive. But this UE4 project is on a hard drive. The application, of course, on an SSD. And comparing them price-wise, so SSDs have come down a lot in price over the last 6 months. I mean, it's incredible. You can get, in this country, you can buy a 1 terabyte Samsung Evo SSD for about, I think it's about 200 Australian dollars, which is probably equivalent to about maybe 150 US dollars. So yeah, they've really come down a lot in price. It's almost worth replacing your mechanical drives for SSDs. But again, I wouldn't recommend that because if the drive gets written to a lot, it's going to reduce the lifespan of the SSD. That's why I'd always recommend a hard drive as well as an SSD. When we do the video work in Premiere Pro, the temp directories for that are on a hard drive, not on an SSD, because it does write constantly to the drive. Smurfberry says, yeah, I usually do what Phil said, program on SSD and files on spinning Rust. That's right. That's the best way to go. Get yourself a nice SSD, like if you want to get yourself a terabyte SSD, cool. I generally find that 500 megabyte SSD, 500 gigabytes? 500 gigabytes, megabytes. 500 gig SSD is probably big enough for all the programs I want to install as well as the operating system. I mean, that's what I'm using in my system here at the moment. And with all my software and the operating system, I still have 300 gig free on my 500 gig SSD. So if you want to save a bit of money, 500 gig is plenty for the OS and the apps. And then just get as big a hard drive as you can sort of afford, I guess. And I've got 3 terabytes and a 1 terabyte hard drive. But of course you can get 10 terabyte drives now. I can't imagine you'd ever fill a 10 terabyte drive, but hey, never say never. And like I said, it is good to see you guys, and hello again, Charlie's Dragon. I don't know why I have a problem with that, saying that sometimes. Okay. Let's get this camera done. Yeah, we need to get the building a little bit better in shot, I think. It's just too close. Now I can angle the camera up, that's always an option. I can move the camera back, but we are starting to head off into the forest here, so moving it back is going to start to be an issue. I'm just looking at our bunnies. Let's try moving it back just a little bit more. We'll see how we go. I'm going to move it over. I'm going to turn real-time preview on here too, so I can see what's happening as we move our camera. Remember too, guys and girls, if I have to throw to a be right back screen, that's just to collect this delivery that's due today, so I'm just giving you fair warning. At some stage, if they deliver while I'm on stream, I'll throw up the Be Right Back screen and I'll be right back. Okay, so yeah, let's see how far we can push this back before we start to run. I can't push it back too far. We're going to see the bunnies. Okay, so what we can do, because we can't get the entire building in shot, we can do a slow pan up before we start to move the camera, or we can pan up while we move the camera across. So let's do that. So what we're going to do is we are going to rotate our camera back down a little bit. Sniper Echo, good to see you, buddy. Yes, how is everybody doing? I hope you're all well. I am well. You're going to have to entertain them, Sniper, if I have to throw to a Be Right Back screen briefly today, maybe during the stream. We'll see how we go. I'm just going to straighten this camera up a little bit. Now, the reason I have to do it on 2 axes is because the camera isn't centered to the world, so that's why I have to keep making adjustments on these 2 different axes. So what we are going to do, I wanted to see the corner of the building here. We have no shots of the back of the building, even though the back of the building theoretically is pretty much a mirror of the front. That's just the design of it. The landscaping is different, so I do want to show the building in one camera at least, at the back. So what we're going to do is we'll start the camera low here. So let's set a keyframe for our camera. Remember, S on the keyboard is a shortcut. Be right back screen for a nap again, Phil, Sniper Echo says. That's right. Just in case I passed out of my chair, you know. No. That's because the card is due today, remember? The card that Epic Games and Nvidia are very kindly sending me. It's due for delivery and it's on board with the driver as we speak. So it's due to be delivered by 6 o'clock tonight, so it can be any time between now and 6. I just thought I'd give you guys warning. You guys haven't seen my Be Right Back screen for ages, have you? Because I mean, I used to, I think, when I first started streaming, I'm going off on a tangent here, not doing what I'm supposed to be. When I first started streaming, I think I used to take a break after an hour of 5 minutes, I think. But I sort of stopped doing that because our streams are only 2 hours long. I thought, just get yourself organised, Philip, and don't interrupt the stream. And so you wouldn't have heard the music that plays on the Be Right Back screen, which is pretty epic music, I have to say. The card, yeah, it's due today. And again, I'm very thankful to Epic and Nvidia for choosing this project for their Nvidia Edge award. Very, very cool. Alrighty, so we've set a keyframe for our camera here looking toward the base of the building. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to before we worry about the building, let's organise the rail here. We don't really want it disappearing, I don't think, off into the forest there. So we're going to have to move our rail around a little bit. So let me find my rail. No, I can't. Sniper just said I can't remember ever seeing the Be Right Back screen on this project. I don't think, like I was saying, I don't think I haven't used the Be Right Back screen for probably nearly a year now. When I first started streaming and I was new to everything on Twitch and maybe a little bit nervous, I used to rely on the Be Right Back screen to compose myself, and it was actually when I used to go and grab a coffee, I think. So I used to use it then about an hour into the stream, but I don't do that now, so I'm used to all you guys now, so it's not a problem. But I do miss the music, so I like the score. It's copyright free, but it's a good score. Whoever created it, I can't remember who actually made it now. I'm trying to find my track here. Where is my track? There it is. Smokeberry says, but now the copy machine is within arm's reach. Not quite within arm's reach, but the copy machine isn't too far away. Not too far away at all. It can't be far from me, the coffee machine. I love my coffee. I can't live without my coffee. Okay, let's rearrange this rail, shall we? This is going to be interesting. You guys know I live on coffee. If it wasn't for coffee, I'd just fall over in a heap. I wouldn't function. Concept Dev says, just hook it up to your veins. That's how. If only I could, I would. Coffee is what keeps me going. I use it. I drink it all day long. The guys and girls at work know how much I love my coffee. Love it, love it, love it. All right, now I've made a mangled mess of my rail. Let's see if we can't fix it up a bit. I used to be a big tea drinker, but and that's just sort of like a leftover from my days as a child because my mother's British. She used to love her tea, so I was a big tea drinker as a child, but as an adult, it's coffee all the way. Speaking of which. Okay, now how do I want to tackle this rail? I might even leave it angling up or a little bit there. Let's see how we go. So before let me straighten the rail here because it's got a bit of a kink in it now. That's not good. There we go. Before we worry about the camera, let's adjust the position of the camera along the rail. So let's set a keyframe for our rail here at 0 position. And let's set a keyframe at 1 where it's at the end of the rail. The camera's at the end of the rail. And set a keyframe. There we go. Now let's play with our camera. So I think what I want to happen here is as the camera moves along, maybe to about here, I want it to angle up. So we can get a better overview of the building. How high do I want to go? Maybe not quite that high. Maybe about there. And let's just straighten our camera up. And press S on the keyboard to set our keyframes for our camera transform. Again, I'm just going to scrub through the timeline here to see what the camera's doing. I think what I might do too, I'm just going to go back to where those keyframes are. I'm going to pull in on the timeline so we can overwrite the keys. Okay, so I'm on my keys. I think I'm going to rotate the camera around a little bit as well. If I just start to rotate the camera around this way a little bit. Stop that. It keeps wanting to lock to these keys. That's the problem. So I'm just going to remove the rotation key to stop it from doing that. Still doing it. It's being temperamental. That's all right. So we're going to rotate it up, straighten it out, wrong way, and rotate it around. Let's set keyframes here. And zoom back out of my timeline so I can see everything. And now let's just preview our camera again. So we start low. As the camera starts to move along the rail, it pans up. And then as we get to the end here, I want the camera to be rotated more to look toward the sun. And let's move our rail back as well. I'm just going to set keyframes for the position of the camera there though. I think we'll take these 3 points along the rail to move. Again, I'm looking in the cinematic viewport while I'm moving it here to see what the camera is seeing. I like the look of the God rays through that pine tree, so I want to sort of keep the camera around about here. We've mangled our rail again though, so I think what I might do is I'm going to move back to 0 on the timeline. Let's see if we can move this a little bit. I'm going to have a problem if I go into the long grass, I think. Actually, some of the grass in the foreground there might be interesting as a shot. Helps to add a bit of depth to the scene. Let's straighten this one out though. I don't really want the rail to go on too much of a roller coaster ride, so I'm just going to smooth it all out a bit. Let's scrub through our timeline. Now here, we've got a problem, a bit of a problem here with the long grass. We're going to be focused on the building, and that's going to look, even though it's correct, the grass is out of focus. It's distracting as part of the camera movement, so I think what I might have to do here is start to lift the rail up a little bit. So if I select these points, I'll leave the last point low, we'll see how we go. I'm just going to lift it up until that grass disappears from the viewport. I'm also just going to straighten this out a little bit more. Okay, let's scrub through our viewport again. I think the camera here is probably too high. I think we should start to pull the camera down. Probably when the building just starts to leave frame, so maybe around about here. Maybe about here. So we'll pan back down again. I actually want to avoid seeing the deer because they're not going to be moving. I don't want to add animation to them if I can help it. You ate a salad, Smurfberry? Well, a salad is nice and healthy. Nothing wrong with eating a nice healthy salad. Oh yeah, we're going to have this problem with these deer. I'm going to have to do something here. I think what I'm going to have to do is... I think I'm going to have to move the entire rail over. So before we worry about changing keys on our camera, let's move the entire rail over a bit. Conclusion, salad isn't real food, Smurfberry says. But it's so good for you. I certainly couldn't be a vegetarian though. I like my meat way, way too much. Must have something to do with being an Australian, because we have a lot of cattle farms and things here, so beef all the way. I like chicken too, but yep, certainly like beef. I'm just trying to see if we can find a position for our rail here. It's going to look cool. Let's get it out of the tree. I'm looking for a position where we can see some grass again, because I did like that in the frame. But your body will thank you, Smurfberry Barbecue, even if it's not as tasty as you might like. It's very good for you. Again, I don't even mind the branch in the upper corner there. I think it might be interesting. But of course our camera probably will need to be rotated. Let's have a look. Yeah, we don't want to be going through the bush there like that. Tricky one, this one. Let's see if we can pull the camera forward, the rail forward a little bit. I still remember that venison with chili that you had a few weeks ago. That sounded so yummy. Smurfberry Barbecue. I love a good chili. And venison is a very nice meat. I sound like a real carnivore, don't I? Yeah, we can't be going through the bush like that. Smurfberry says we still have some of that frozen in the freezer, and yeah, that's another great thing with chili. You can freeze it and reheat it in the microwave or something. It's good to make in a big batch and then store. Going back to my chef days. So yeah, whenever I can, I like to if I'm making beef stroganoff or I'm making anything like that I can cook a large quantity of and then just freeze it in tubs in the freezer. But if you're going to do that with beef stroganoff, don't add the sour cream. Just make it up. Don't add the sour cream. Take out what you want to freeze, and then add the sour cream to the one that you're going to eat straight away. Because sour cream won't freeze really well. It'll go gluggy. So don't add the sour cream. Just a tip from me. If you're doing beef stroganoff and you want to freeze it. Okay, can I bring you up even more? I think, what about if I pull you forward? Which will probably mean I need to pull you forward too. FS Bolt, hello to you too. It's good to see you, FS Bolt. How are you? Smurfberry says no buffer here. No buffer. What are you talking about buffering? You guys should... Transcoding should be available, so you should be able to knock me back if I'm buffering, if my stream is buffering. Knock me back from lower than 1080p. It's buffering for you as well, Sniper, okay? Oh, Sniper's saying it's buffering for him, okay. Yeah, again, guys and girls, do remember, click that little gear icon and you can choose the quality of the stream. If your internet is potato like mine and you can't watch in 1080p. You're doing good, FSFold? Good to hear. How's everything coming along? Well, we're at the final 4 cameras. We've got 4 cameras left, and then we're finished with the camera work. We can jump into Premiere Pro and start putting the final cinematic together. So we are almost there. Can you believe it? After all this time, we're almost there. Mercury says, stop reading chat in reverse order. I don't know what you mean. I'm just going to straighten my rail up a little bit here. Let's scrub through our timeline. So we have the grass and the tree in the corner there, that's fine. We travel through, we don't get the tree going through the lens, so that helps. Although it's still very close to the lens here. That's probably not great. Yes, yay, that's right, FSFold. Yay, finally, we're done. Finally. Although I don't want to sound like it's been a chore. It hasn't. It's been a lot of fun for me creating this level in Unreal. I've enjoyed it very much, so I can't complain about that. But it will be good for us to move on to do something else. And again, for you guys and girls that are curious, look at the events on my Twitch page. You'll see what we're going to be working on for the next 3 months. Cross fingers anyway, unless I push the timelines out on some of them, because you guys know what I'm like. I can't help myself. I just cannot help myself. But that's the plan for the next 3 months of events, of live stream events on Twitch. I'm going to pull you in. I think that's going higher, is that right? Yes. Sniper says, look at the events. They're wrong. They're not wrong. What are you talking about? You being a troll, Sniper. Do you want a Phil slap? Do you want me to give you a slap? They're not wrong. Today is the one for UE4, and then next week it's Premiere Pro for a couple of weeks. I've allowed 2 weeks, so 4 streams to do the cinematic, putting it all together with the sound effects and music track. And then we move on to photogrammetry. You're just being a troll, aren't you? You're just such a troll, Sniper Echo. Okay, our starting position is too low. We all know there's no such structure on this channel, you reckon? You. I'm very organised. Some would say anal, but no, I'm very organised. Okay, so I just want to make sure we've got the problem with the bush fixed first, so we don't go through the tree. That looks cool. Okay. Our camera moves up, pans across the building. I think it might be a little bit too high now. What have I done? Can someone remind me? 'Cause to me this soul is just a blur. Sniper says, boy, do I ever wish Legmog was here right now. Well, he's working, isn't he? He's doing that contract job at the studio at the moment. Thank God. I love you, Legmog. That's not true. I hope they're not making him work too late. He was saying how they were expecting him, even as a contractor, to work till like 10 o'clock at night. He's not supposed to be working that late as a contractor, so yeah. I hope it all goes well. If I was him, I wouldn't accept any more contracts from that studio if they want to make you work really late. Again, I don't want to say you shouldn't be working late if you're working in a design or art studio, because that's just what happens. But if you're a contractor, then that's a bit different. I think the camera is probably angling up a bit too much. Let's work on where it finishes before we work on the middle. Because remember, I like to go from start at the beginning, move to the end, and then work my way back. I think here I might move the rail back a little bit. Simply because I want to get the shot of the God rays through this pine tree. No, I don't want any grass in shot though. But you're right, I'm sure Legmod would have something to say. He always does, if he was here. I'm going to lift the rail up a bit here at the end of the track so we don't get any grass in shot. Now, if I angle the camera down, we've got deer here, and I really don't want them in shot either. So my rail is looking a little bit wonky here at the moment. I've got to work out how I want to tackle this. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to shorten the rail up a bit. I think it's a bit too long. So I'm just going to pull all of my points in a bit. See if we can't move our rail back into a position here. Let's have a look at what it's doing. Okay, so we need to lift the rail up here so we don't get those bushes in shot. So start low, camera pans up across the building as it's moving along. I still think it's rotated too high. So let's fix that. I'm going to redo these keyframes so I can rotate the camera a little bit less. In fact, what I might do too is I might rotate the camera around a little bit. Now, do I want to... I just don't know if I want to rotate to look at that part of the building up there because it's a bit boring. There's much more interesting stuff going on down here, like a lot more to look at, as opposed to just the facade of a building up here like that. So I might try and keep the camera probably as low as I can. Can't go too low. Let's set a keyframe here. I can always change it if we don't like it. It's half the fun of playing with cameras. You can experiment. If you don't like something, it's easy to change. Do I like that or not? Do I want to push the camera higher here or not? You see, the reason I moved the rail further back is because this tree hides the deer over there now. But it's just getting the shot from there to here that I'm not sure about. Maybe around about the middle point here. We can rotate the camera so it's not rotated up so much, but still looking a little bit more down. Again, I've just got to get my camera straight. Let's add a keyframe here. So we start off looking at the left-hand side of the building. We pan across the building. And then towards the end, I don't really like to pan up that high. So let's change the angle at the end here. Again, I'm just going to delete these keyframes. Oh look, we can even see our bunnies in the foreground there. I don't really want to see our bunnies in the foreground either at this stage. So let's rotate our camera a little bit. Just let me make sure my timeline is correct. Okay, so we want the camera to be rotated up a bit. All those deer are coming back in shot. We're pushing it. Let's see if they still come in shot once I adjust the camera correctly. Let's set a keyframe. Do I want to rotate it up more? No, I like seeing a little bit of the ground plane here, so let's set a keyframe here. And let's see how badly our deers pop into shot. Ooh, just in shot here. It's unacceptable. I don't want them in shot. I think if we move our rail back just a little bit, we might be able to hide them. So if I move the end of my rail just in a little bit. I don't even mind the bush here in the foreground. It's not too bad. It's really weird going backwards. Adjusting it here, but it's like when you're playing a flight sim game. It's sort of like the opposite to what you would expect. Just to the direction you've got to move. Let's scrub through our timeline. Oh, do we hide our deer? I think we might have hidden our deer nicely. Okay, so our deer are hidden, that's good. Just the bush in the foreground here is just here, causing a bit of a problem. I think the easiest way to fix this might be just to lift up the rail a little bit. We might need to lift it up just a little bit more. Charlie's Dragon, nice grass and plants. Thank you, Charlie's Dragon. Again, everything is fully wind animated, so it all moves and animates in the breeze. It doesn't here because I've got real time turned off. Charlie's Dragon says, in sun rays, everything looks good. Thank you, Charlie's Dragon. I'm glad you like it. It's taken us a long time to make it, so as the guys and girls will tell you. But it's been fun to make. I've enjoyed it. I'm not going to bitch about making it because I loved every minute of making it. It's been a lot of fun. Okay, so yeah, I don't mind the bush here in the corner, the left-hand corner a little bit. I think it's interesting. Helps to give the scene a bit more 3D depth. We finish on the God rays because I love God rays and everything. Can never have too many God rays. And we achieved what we wanted to here, which is hiding the deer. I don't want to see the deer in the background. And the only reason I don't want to see them is because if I had them in shot, I'd have to animate them, which means I'd have to add animation tracks here. And I really don't want to have the deer in shot again anyway, because we've got a close-up shot of them already. We don't need another one. So we start at grass. Camera moves along the building. And we end looking at the God rays. Just through the middle here, I'm still not sold. If we start low, that's fine. I like to see the environment more than the building here. I'm looking for the... It's an interesting sort of looking environment, so I want to show that off a little bit. But as we pass by the building, I'm just wondering if we should maybe... Oh, I don't know. I was going to say rotate it up, but the building's just not that interesting to look at in the middle. Let's play it on a loop. I'll get a better idea if I see it play through on a loop a few times. I've pushed the sun rays up a little bit more than you probably would if you were going for more realism. I mean, it still looks realistic, but I've really pushed the God rays and the fogging in the God rays up more than you probably would if you were going for true realism. Because I like the look of the God rays. But if you wanted them to look completely realistic, you'd probably knock them back a little bit. They're a bit strong. But hey, it's my world, as Bob Ross would say. I'll do what I want. Okay, so we pan along the building. And then we pan up to look at the God rays. Smokeberry says, sexy saxophone time. I don't know, are you talking about my music in the background, Smokeberry, or your music that you're listening to? Because I can't hear my music. You guys are the only ones that can hear it, because I don't wear headphones while I stream. You will see me putting in my earbuds though next week when we do the final cinematic in Premiere, because I need to hear the music, the audio track while we're working. Even though I've got two pairs of headphones, a wireless pair as well. I'm not going to be wearing them. I'm going to wear earbuds. Yes, mine? Oh, okay. I'll have to take your word for it, Smokeberry, because like I said, I can't hear my music. I don't know what's playing. I can see what's playing, but I can't hear it. Smokeberry says, I can't listen to my music and a streamer's music at the same time. Yeah, a lot of people have said that on Reddit, particularly on the Twitch channel on Reddit, say that they'd like the option to be able to turn the music off that streamers use so that they can listen to their own stuff. It's just not possible. In a live stream, it's just not possible to do that. So even if Twitch wanted to, I can't see how they could do it. And it'd be cool if you could just say, I don't want to hear the streamer's music, I'm just going to turn that off and listen to my own music or listen to no music. It's just impossible with the current technology and the way that live streaming works. You can't do it. Although we can broadcast in 7.1 stereo now using OBS, so that's pretty cool. Not that I don't do that. I think I broadcast in stereo, but yeah, you can. Charlie's Dragon says, unless the music was a separate plug-in streamer controlled or something, yeah. It'd have to be some sort of plug-in so that you guys could turn it off on your end. Sort of like the way, extensions work on Twitch. You get those little extensions that pop up on the screen, or maybe they could do something like that, maybe. Charlie's Dragon said, so like a panel between the stream, you could control the volume or turn off. Yeah. Maybe they could do it with an extension, maybe. That's true. And Smokeberry says it's perfectly doable if Twitch wants to have their API accept multiple audio streams. Well, there you go. Bitch to Twitch. Don't bitch to Twitch. Yeah. I mean, Twitch have been introducing a lot of new stuff lately, like the tags, doing away with the communities, the extensions themselves. That's a relatively new thing for Twitch, those extensions that streamers can add to the stream. So, yep, Twitch are doing things slowly but surely. They always take their time. They always end up breaking something while they do it, but they get it fixed in the end. That's the important thing. Any Twitch staff watching me, I'm not bitching. I love you guys at Twitch. Smokeberry says, then Streamlabs and OBS would need an option to send 2 streams of audio, one for music, one for mic, and any other sounds. Well, I'm sure it'd be doable in OBS because OBS is free, so it's open source. I'm sure there's lots of people that would be willing to help make that work, because streamers would love it as well, not just you guys watching. Charlie's Dragon says, I sometimes use streams as background sound music while I work, then I don't have to choose my own music or make playlists. Yeah, a lot of people do that too. Although if it's my stream, I never shut up, so you'd never hear my music most of the time anyway. But yeah, no, a lot of viewers and people that watch my stream as well have done that. They say that they have my stream going and they while they're working. I'm just noticing a red line popping up. I'm wondering what that is. It might be I've got something selected, I think, that's showing up. There it is. Just let me see what that is. I think it's just something I've got selected. There. Let's have a look. What's going on? Where am I? It is. It's because I have the point selected. I'm just going to deselect that. It was just throwing me seeing this red line up here. I was wondering what was going on. Sniper says some streamers use an external site for music. Yeah, they do. Spotify is one. There's another one. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. That of course, Twitch music. Twitch have their own Spotify list that you can listen to as well, which is royalty-free, copyright-free music you can stream on Twitch, because you can't stream. You should not stream copyright music. So the top 10, the top 40, that sort of thing. If you do, number one, your VODs are going to be muted when they're stored on Twitch. And number two, you can get a takedown notice against you. And if they complain to Twitch, then Twitch will ban your channel, at least for like 72 hours or something. So it's best to avoid any sort of copyright music on Twitch if you're streaming. There's plenty of stuff that's not copyright you can use. You're probably talking about an extension, maybe Sniper Echo, that people can use. Again, there are extensions being added and written for Twitch every day, and I don't look at them all the time. Like I pick the 3 that I like, and I tend to stick to them. So I must go through them again and see what new ones have been added by people. Twitch extensions have been added. Pandora, Charlie's Dragon saying, I've never heard of that except that your VODs get muted. Yeah, well, it's unusual. It's unlike. It's rare that people get sent takedown notices, but it has happened, and it happened a couple of months ago to some big streamers on Twitch. They played some piece of music and a DCMA or DMCA, I can never remember the acronym, was filed against them. So Twitch banned their channel for like 24 or 72 hours. Twitch has to do that because Twitch has to be showing companies that they take copyright seriously. So I just avoid it altogether by not playing copyright music. I only ever play royalty-free, copyright-free stuff, which is why a lot of it's all EDM stuff, electronic dance music, because there's lots of that being made. And I don't want my VODs to be muted. So Sniper says, oh man, I mean the streamer doesn't stream music through Twitch. Oh, but they have a playlist that people can listen to on another site. I getcha, okay. Sniper says that way the VODs never get muted. Well, that's a good option. Charlie's Dragon says, really? I'm surprised. I've watched bigger streamers that have copyright music on their pre-stream Be Right Back screens. They do, I know they do. And Twitch will let them do it, and without penalty. It's only if the person that made the music contacts Twitch and says, you should not, this person is using my music track and they don't have permission. If that happens, then Twitch has to ban the channel that played the music for a period of time, because they're legally required to. And Twitch will, but it's rare. They have to. The person playing the copyright music that wrote it has to see it happening live on stream to make the claim. So it's less likely than, say, YouTube, where people can watch it at any time. But it does happen, and it has happened. Trust me. There was an outrage about it on Reddit a couple of months ago because, like I said, a couple of big streamers got caught. And their channel was banned for like 24 hours, I think. Charlie's Dragon says, I get it, it makes sense. I've never heard of anyone filing a complaint. It is rare, but it does happen. And it did happen a couple of months ago to a piece of music that these streamers were playing. I can't remember what the music was. It was like some general band's music. I don't know what band, but some band. Okay, we pan across the building. Okay, we finish on the God Rays, that's fine. We stop there, we pan across. Just wondering if my camera is a little bit off center here. I'm noticing a little bit of a dip going on between here and here. Or am I imagining things? Might even be our rail. Maybe it's the rail. Come on, Philip, you've got an hour to get another 3 cameras done. Don't obsess, don't obsess. We want to get them right. We don't want to half-ass anything. We want to make sure we do the best job we can, even if it takes longer. Famous last words. Just here, there's something weird going on. I'm wondering, or am I seeing things? Or is it the rail? Might be the rail, actually. I think what I might do is I might just move the rail up here a little bit. Just to try and to get rid of that bit of a kink there. I think that's what I'm noticing. We had a bit of a kink in our rail. Sniper says, even if it takes longer, 2020 release of this game, guys. Do you want it done right or do you want it now? That's the question. I know many that would say they want it now. Yeah, I'm gonna play that through on a loop a couple of times to check it. Because we want nice, smooth camera movements. We don't want any jerks. We don't want any weird movement on the camera. Everything needs to be nice and smooth. Nobody likes jerks, whether they're on camera or in real life. I think we might be good for this camera. We're just going to look at depth of field really quick. And then we can move on to doing the bunny cam. So let's do that. Alright. I think I might want the grass in focus at the start of the shot. Let's have a look. Let's select a camera and look at our depth of field. I'm going to turn the depth of field plane on. And let's push it to 200. Actually, I'm going to turn the plane off because I want to see what's going on. Let's try 500. I think 500 might be more interesting. The background is slightly out of focus, the building is in focus, and the foreground grass is slightly out of focus. Let's set a keyframe here at 500. Let's move through our timeline. And I think when we get to here, I'm going to turn that plane back on again. I'm going to push the depth of field back out. Let's try 1,000. 2,000. 3,000. Let's try 3,500. I think 3,500 maybe. Let's turn that plane off so we can see what's going on, so that the building is in complete focus. So I'm going to set a keyframe here for that. I'm going to turn on smooth focus change as well. Let's scrub through our timeline here. So as we pan to the building is in focus. And as we pass the building, we want to stay at the same focus until we get to about here. So let's set a keyframe at 3,500. I'm going to turn on the focal distance again. And then as we get to the background here, we'll keep it at 3,500 till we get to about here. So I'm going to set another keyframe. We might push it back. Let's try 5,000. Let's try 6,000. 10,000. I think 10,000 is good. The background here will be slightly out of focus. The foreground trees will be in focus. Let's set a keyframe here at 10,000. And we're going to stay at 10,000 till the end and set another keyframe. Let's scrub through our timeline and have a look. I keep forgetting we've got these little white things are seed pods that are floating in the air, if you're wondering. And this is a particle system. Using a mesh particle. Using a mesh as the particle. That's what all those little white things you see flying around in the background are. So I think this camera might be good. Building comes into focus. And then background comes into focus. And we catch just a glimpse of our bush here in the left-hand corner, bottom left-hand corner. And we start with our grass in the bottom left-hand corner. Let's save all and move on to a new camera. And we're going to do the bunny cameras now. I should sit straight, shouldn't I? I'm promoting bad posture. That's not good. There we go. Tend to slump off to the side here. Okay, so we've saved all. Let's create a new empty shot track. We're up to shot 71. Alrighty, so bunny cam, bunny cam, bunny cam, bunny cam, bunny cam. I could get a shot of the bunnies looking this way, but I feel it could be interesting with the building in the background. We could either get a shot of the bunnies this way, or we can get a shot of the bunnies this way. Which way do you guys think looks better? What do you like? Do you like looking at the forest in the background? Or do you think it's better that we look at the building in the background? What's your opinion? Of course, we have to make sure we've got to watch the deer. The deer are going to be a problem if we face this way. I mean, I could probably angle it so we don't see the deer in some way, shape or form. So we can either have the building in the background or we can have the forest in the background. Smurfberry says probably better to face the building. Keeps you spatially grounded. Well, that's true. That's very true. All right, let's see if we can set up the shot so the building is in the background. Because it does show, like as Smurfberry says, it shows where we are, where we've been within our environment, so it's probably a good idea. Now, the building wasn't shown when we did the close-ups of the deer because we're going to see them before we enter the building. But now that we've entered the building and left the building, it is probably a good idea for us to see the building in the background. Face the building, Sniper says. Yeah, I agree. I think facing the building is a good way to go. We're not going to use any rails or rigs for this. We're just going to use a camera on its own. So, I'm going to bring in a cinematic camera. I don't remember if I set the last camera to 18mm or not either. We may have to check that in a minute. Let's rotate our camera around so we're facing in the right direction. Remember, we've got to place this camera so we don't see the deer in the background. So I'm just going to add the camera to our shot track. And we can turn it on so we can see what the camera is looking at. Let's move it back a little bit so we can see our bunnies. Now I do want to, why is that snapping like that? It's getting really annoying. I probably want two cameras for the bunnies, a wider shot and then a close-up shot. Let's work the wider shot first. So a shot where we're away from the bunnies and then a shot where we're closer up to the bunnies. Again, we're going to have to sort of be careful here because we start to go into the forest and that's not good. We're still not going to get a lot of the building in shot. Let me change the camera focal height to 18 first because that's going to restrict it even more. I could maybe angle the camera up. Let's see. If I angle it up and pull it down. But I think I might start to go through the grass before we actually see the bunnies. Let's have a look. Yeah, I'm going to go through the grass, so that's no good. Let me just undo those rotations. So we're not going to get a full shot of the building. There's no way I can pull the camera back far enough, really, because it's going to become occluded by all these bushes. Maybe if we pull the camera over this way. Let's have a look. Because we've got a little bit more play here, a bit more room. Let's rotate our camera around. We're getting the deer in the background, that's not great. I don't know if there's really going to be anywhere I can move the camera over here where we're not going to see the deer, or we're not going to be stuck in grass. I'd have to pull the camera this far. Let's rotate it around. We're going to get the deer in shot, so I'm going to have to stick to this side of the... I don't know we're really going to be able to get the building properly in shot, to be honest with you. No, we're not going to get a great shot of the building, but we'll be able to see part of the building in the background. That still grounds us in the scene, shows people where they are. It's the best we're going to be able to do. Got to avoid seeing the deer here though, so I still want the bunnies to be about around the centre of the shot. Doesn't matter if they're off centre a little bit. In fact, that's probably preferable. So instead of putting the bunnies here right in the middle, we're going to make them just a little off-centre. Makes it more interesting. I like the tufts of grass in the background. We do still see the building, so we are still grounded. Smokeberry says camera rotation, fix that. Sniper says building doesn't have a kitchen or a toilet and it's still too big to get in frame. You get a fill slap. For mentioning kitchen and toilets, you get a fill slap. There you go. I haven't handed them out yet, so you deserved one today. I told you, you know, when we come back to make next year, when we turn it into the game level, we'll put a kitchen and a bathroom in. How about that? You're going to have to wait 6 months though, at least. Smokeberry says, hey Philly, you're going to do a photogrammetry toilet? That'd be funny, actually. I should do a photogrammetry toilet. If I revisit this level next year, and if I decide to make it into a game level, we'll put a kitchen and a bathroom in, I promise. You're just going to have to wait. And I'm not making any guarantees that we will, but we'll see. That we'll come back to this to turn it into a game level, but we'll see. Sniper says, solid and relevant idea that, Phil. Photogrammetry toilet. Okay, so we can't go any further back than there. Let's see if we can rotate the camera up just a little bit. We don't want to go too high anyway. Again, the building around the middle of the building here is not done, it's not terrible, but it's not interesting to look at particularly. We've got more going on at the lower part of the building, so I think that's what we should be sort of focused on. Sniper says, can we slot that toilet into one of the weeks on month 2 of the schedule? No, we can't. You guys are going to have to wait for the kitchen, bathroom and toilet. That's a next year project, not a this year project. Can you believe it's nearly Christmas already? When I actually started putting the schedule up yesterday, I hadn't realised just how close to Christmas we were. Where does the time go? I ask you all, where does the time go? Okay, so I think for this shot, just a nice simple shot where we start low, maybe around about there, and we just pan the camera straight up to reveal our bunnies. This is the wide shot. We'll do a closer shot in a minute. Oh, I think that could be cool. A nice simple camera shot. You don't have to get overcomplicated with a camera shot. Keep it simple, kiss. Keep it simple, stupid. That's the best way to go. 9 times out of 10. Sniper says, I feel like you're way too stressed to be managing your own schedule. I'm not stressed. I'm pretty easygoing. God forbid if I were to let somebody else manage my schedule for me, what would happen? Particularly you, Sniper Echo, if you were to manage my schedule, I hate to think what I would be scheduled to be doing. Toilet this day, toilet this day, toilet this day, toilet this day. That's what you'd have my schedule full of making toilets. Wouldn't you? Okay, let's set a keyframe here at the beginning. Again, I'm just going to press S on the keyboard, the shortcut. Let's move to the end of our timeline. Let's move our camera straight up. No, we can't go that high because we're going to hit the bush. Do I want to move my camera in a little as I'm doing this? Over a little as I'm doing this? It may be over a little as well, just so we have a bit more of an interesting camera move, not just straight up and down, but a little bit more interesting. Sniper says, I can't argue with that point. That's right. You know I'm right. It will be all toilets and kitchens for months on end. Never-ending toilets. I'm just playing with my camera here to see which, moving it which way would be more interesting. I'm going to start to hit the bush this way, so we have to be careful. I don't want to move it so far that our bunnies go out of frame. Let's try here. Let's set a keyframe here. And I'm just going to play this through on a loop while I have a coffee. So all the camera's doing is it's moving up and moving over. I don't think our bunnies get too lost there. I mean, they're small. They're going to be, hard to see anyway without a real extreme close-up, which we'll do in a minute. We do want to add a little bit of animation to the bunnies, so let's see what animation we can load into them. But as far as the shot goes, nice and simple. Like Smokeberry says, it grounds us in the scene. We know we've come out of the building, which is in the background. And we're looking at our bunnies. And we don't see the deer, which is good. Sniper says, perhaps someone more sensible than me could do it. Someone that's not so easily impressed by kitchens and such extravagant facilities. That's right, Sniper Echo. You're all about the kitchens and the bathrooms. Luxuries in life. So yeah, just a simple shot a wide shot of our bunnies. Let us look at what animation we can load in. So first things first, we have to choose our bunnies. And we've got to add them to our shot track. Sniper says, my vote is for Smurfberry Barbecue. Smurfberry, yeah, Smurfberries doesn't give me anywhere near as hard a time as you do about kitchens and bathrooms. Let's see what animation we've got for these bunnies. I'm probably not going to make you load up an animation where the bunny moves. So we've got a death animation. We've got an idle breathe, an alert look around, and a lie down. Idle. What's this one? It's actually the rabbit has quite a few animations to it. I didn't realise. We're not using a walk cycle. Let's look at this idle sniffle around. I'm not sure what that will even do, but we can find out. So I'm just going to move in on my bunny here so I can see what that animation is. Okay, so he's just sniffing around, maybe looking around, eating maybe even on the grass. Okay, well that's cool. That's okay. Let's load up another animation and have a look at it. Let's look at the idle alert breathe. Okay, so he just pops his ears up. Okay, that's pretty cool. Let's see what else we've got. Sniper says, did you model that what? Conan, what is that word? Did I model what? What's she talking about, Sniper Echo? What the hell is that? What is a Conan? I can't even pronounce it. What are you talking about? What's going on? These animals, no, full disclosure, are not my models. I purchased them from the marketplace from the Unreal Marketplace. So I didn't make the model, I didn't texture them, or do the animation, because you guys know my animation skills are not great. Stroke. I think I'm having a stroke. It's it's Irish for small rabbit. I couldn't even pronounce that. No, I didn't model it. No, full disclosure, these models purchased from the marketplace, the UE4 Marketplace. So not my model, not my texture, not my animation. Thank God. You're all saying thank God, not my animation, because the eagle is the only thing I've animated, and you saw it's passable, but it's not great because I'm not an animator. I don't ever pretend to be an animator. I want to see what this lie down animation is. What's that one? Not much. No, don't like the lie down animation. Not much going on there. You're dying right now, Sniper Echo says. Let's see what other animation is here. Hey, come on, don't do this. Behave. You behave too, Sniper Echo. Expecting me to say these Irish words. Lie down is not a great animation. I'm sure it's fine animation, but just not for what I want. Did we do the idle alert look around? See what that one is. Okay, so the bunny just looks around. And this one is just a breathe. And this one is sniffing around on the ground. Okay, that's all cool. I think then we just probably need an idle breathe. So not an alert breathe, just an idle breathe. I think it's this one here, idle sat breathe. No, it looks like he's eating. Doesn't look like an idle breathe, it looks like he's eating. Not fussed on that one. What else do we got? Did we look at idle sniffle around? Yeah, that's that one. Maybe these three might be okay. We might not need to we may not need another one. I'm just adding 2 tracks here so I can blend between them. We only had one animation track, which won't allow me to blend the animations together. So adding a second track, I can overlay them, and Unreal is smart enough that it'll blend between the animations. Sniper says, hey, did you get to look at that mobile app? I did have a look at it, Sniper Echo. It did look very interesting, although it looked like it might be a little bit buggy. So while it's like you use it just to see how your model is going to turn into a photogrammetric object, it's good for that, but I wouldn't rely on it to actually make my stuff. But it's certainly cool. I did look at it though. I'll check it out next time I go and do some photographing of photogrammetry stuff, because it does look cool. Okay, so I'm going to slide the look around animation right down to the beginning. Smurpery says, I forgot that I have a good phone around here. Yeah, you can use your mobile phone to do photogrammetry for sure. Smurpery says, I keep it in a box and use a potato for daily. Well, that's wise, I guess. Not everybody wants one of the... A lot of people like the old flip phones. I mean, do you remember the old flip phones where... Still a mobile phone, but it's like a clamshell. You flip it up and you'd have your little screen up here and your actual keys along here, which you used to hit. A lot of people are going back to that retro sort of phone as well. You know, the same sort of people that go out and buy records now. Instead of buying music digitally, they go and buy a record. They like the old-fashioned stuff. Smurfery says, the good phone isn't compatible with Verizon. Okay, and I'm really too lazy to switch to T-Mobile. Just check what's going on here. Fair enough. But you can use your mobile phone to do photogrammetry. You don't need to use a camera, because a lot of cameras and phones now are very good. As long as your phone is like 8 megapixel or higher, you should be okay. Sniper says, yeah, I just got used to test if it detects a lot of points on the object I'm going to shoot. I don't really use it to create the models. Yeah, no, and for that it looked fine. So next time I go out and about, I will test it out that way myself. So we have our bunny doing his little look around. And from his look around, then we have an idle. So this is idle alert, and this is idle alert as well. Okay. And this is eating. Yeah, do check it out, guys. Sniper Reco mentioned the app yesterday. It's an Android app, and the way he describes he's using it sounds like a good tool to add to if you want to do photogrammetry. Just to make sure your scan is going to come out the way you expect it to. Don't use the program to try and do your photogrammetry, because I got the impression it was a little buggy. But it's certainly going to be good enough to use in the way Sniper is using it. I'm just wondering if there's another animation I've missed here. Idle alert breathe. I've got that one. Idle alert look around. I've got that one. Idle lie down. No, I don't really want that one. Idle sat breathe. Idle sniffle around. And then we've got walk cycles. I don't think... The idle sat breathe, I just wasn't sure I liked the look of that. It looks like he's... I don't know. I would have lifted the head up, so it looked more like that, personally, if he was sitting and breathing, instead of having the head sort of rotated down so it looks like he's eating. That's the impression I get. So anyway, we'll start him up, looking around. And then we have this eating animation. Then I might bring him into the eating animation, I think. Sniper says, I take one shot with it and then move the phone to take the next shot. It will show a lot of green dots, points it detects. It goes orange and red, showing bad tracking points. Yeah, it sounds like a good way to sort of suss out what you're going to be taking pictures of before you actually take the pictures. And it looked fine for that. Like I said, just don't do your actual photogrammetry using it. I wouldn't anyway. Just simply because from the reviews, and you can't always trust reviews, but from a lot of the reviews, a lot of people are saying it's a bit buggy to use as your only photogrammetry software, that is. Okay, so you see what's going on here is the animation's blending between his stand up and then his sit down and eat. Mavira, thank you for following Phil Does 3D. Mavira, I do appreciate it. Thank you for the follow. My apologies if I'm mispronouncing your username. The guys and girls will tell you I'm just terrible with usernames. Hey Galen, it's good to see you, Galen. How are you? I hope you've been well. I hope everything's going well for you, Galen. Sniper says, best thing is if you have an external USB accessible camera, you can use the app to control the camera also. Well, that sounds cool. You use a 20 megapixel external camera, Sniper says. Well, that's certainly a high enough megapixel count you'll get good shots from. Mesh Fusion, it's good to see you, Mesh Fusion. How are you? Good to see you guys. Galen, Mesh Fusion, and thank you again. Mavira for the follow. So yes, our little bunny here. Oh, Galen's posted some stuff on Discord, I see. You guys jump on Discord and you can check out the video that Galen just posted. Galen just posted in Discord. Do remember, guys and girls, if you're not on the Discord, you should join it. There's the invite link to join the Phil Dust 3D Discord. Everyone's free to post links on Discord, but only subs can post links in Twitch chat. So join the Discord server. There's a good group of guys and girls on there, and everyone's very friendly, very helpful. There's a gallery section where you can show your work if you're so inclined. You're doing okay, Galen? That's good to hear. And the video made your day. And check the video out that Galen has just posted on Discord, on the Discord server, the Phil Dust 3D Discord. I will check it out after the stream. So yes, just overlapping our animations here allows us to blend between them seamlessly. The engine does it all for us, auto-magically. Wonderful. I love that feature in Unreal 4 here, that we can just seamlessly blend between different animations. Not good, Mesh Fusion? Well, it's never good to hear when you guys aren't good. I know no one is happy 100% of the time, but it's not. It's never good when you're not. I hope you're well at least, or something. I hope you're okay, Mesh Fusion. But I've been good, yes. I had that heat cold last week, but that's all gone now, thank God. And that's going 50 degree temperatures to 16 degree temperatures Celsius, that is. Gave me a head cold. I knew it would, because it often does. Whenever they send me out to the middle of nowhere, out to hell, as Galen commented on one of my photos when I posted it on Twitter, I always end up getting a head cold. So it's one of the reasons I hate going out there. But I'm good now. Galen says, don't play the audio on stream. It would get muted. No, I won't. I'll check it out after the stream. I will check it out after the stream, because I have to. I tag my stream as family friendly, and I'm sure it's not too bad. I'll check it out after the stream. So we have our bunny who looks around. We're going to start the camera shot with him looking around. Then he's going to move down to an idle snip around down here. And then just Galen says we're good. It's very PG vid, but incredibly funny, but the music is copyrighted. Okay. Mesh Fusion says, dealt with depression my whole life, not something I wanted to... No problems, Mesh Fusion, we won't talk about it. I respect that. And it is a terrible thing, depression. A friend of mine gets incredibly down as well, so... I'll send you my love, and I hope you feel better soon though, Mesh Fusion. Then we're going to go into the bunny rabbit just idling there. It looks like he's eating. What's this one here? This is another look around, a shorter one. Oh, he just stands up and breathes. So let's go into that animation. We've got 10 seconds worth of animation we've got to fill up here, so... Galen says, been trying to claw my claw your way out of a funk for almost a month now. Yeah. It's never nice when you get into a funk or you get depressed. And it happens to everyone, and the degrees of the depression, of course, are different depending on who you are. But it's never a nice thing. Never, ever a nice thing. Yeah. Mesh Fusion says, did you get the bathroom and kitchen finished? You are so cheeky, Mesh Fusion. You're going to get a pill slap. I'm going to give you a pill slap, man. No, actually, you're going to get the stink eye. You are going to get stink eye. I'll give you a slap if you want, but no, I did not finish the kitchen or the bathroom. Thank you so much for asking. I've been telling the guys and girls that if we revisit this level after we've finished the cinematic next year, if I decide to make it into a game level, then I'll put a kitchen and a bathroom in just for all you guys as part of that. Until then, no. You go to the bathroom in the forest, you wash yourself in the pond, and there's no need for a kitchen because you're trapped in a hollow and you're never going to get out. There's nothing to eat. Galen says depression, anxiety, PTSD and ASD are a bad combo. They certainly are. Yes, they're a very bad combo. Mesh Fusion says, yeah, I have anxiety as well. A friend of mine is on beta blockers for anxiety. Maybe they might help. I mean, I'm sure you've spoken to people about it. And I don't want to give medical advice because I'm not a qualified medical person. I just know a friend of mine who suffers badly from anxiety is on beta blockers and they've helped him. Galen says, how about a 2-story outhouse? I wouldn't want to be in a 2-story. I wouldn't want to be on the bottom story of a 2-story outhouse, that's for sure. That'd be yucky. Yucky, yucky, yucky. And I did think about putting an outhouse just to please you guys and to make it a bit funny in the cinematic, but then I thought, well, the guys and girls at the studio I work at are going to look at the cinematic and they're not going to get the joke. They're just going to think, what's wrong with Phil? He's lost the plot. So I decided not to. And they're going to look at this. They want to see whether a UE4 could be a good fit for the studio. So when I finish the cinematic, which will be soon, they're going to check it out and decide then if they might want to use the engine as part of work for some clients at the studio. Mesh Fusion says, anxiety meds make my depression worse. Better off not taking anything. Well, you know yourself better than anyone. If it makes it worse, then I would agree. Don't take them. Mesh says, but get attacks all the time without medication. It's terrible. You're in a bit of a bind if the medication makes things worse, but then you get attacks if you don't take the medication. Doesn't make life easy, does it, Mesh Fusion? And I don't know if you have bouts of where you get worse and then get a little bit better. The friend of mine that has anxiety is a bit like that. There'll be periods where he's okay, relatively speaking, and then he gets very depressed or very anxious, and then he's okay again for a while. So, but I found that he's found the medication has evened him out a lot. But it's never a nice thing. What is this animation again? Mesh Fusion says depression and anxiety medication can be horrific if you get side effects. That's very true. And remember too, you can't just stop taking this medication either. Like, it's dangerous just to go cold turkey and stop. So if you've been on medication for a while, they do not recommend you just stop suddenly because it can cause serious health issues. So I don't want to suggest anyone take medication lightly either. Mundane Magpie, thank you for following the Phil Does 3D Twitch channel. I do appreciate it. Mundane Magpie, welcome to Phil Does 3D. Again, guys and girls, do remember to join the Discord server if you haven't already. You can type !Discord in Twitch chat to get an invite link, or click the blue graphic in my panels below my stream. You can get invite link that way too. Charlie's Dragon says it can. I've experienced that. Galen says an infinity cube fidget helps me usually to permit attacks. That's a good idea. There you go. An infinity cube fidget. Monday Magpie says, thank you. Glad to be here. Well, we're glad to have you as well. So thank you very much for following Phil Does 3D. I do appreciate it, guys and girls, when you follow the channel. Charlie's Dragon says, but I found some medication that works well for me. Well, that's good. This medication that my friend takes, the beta blocker is working for him for his anxiety, so that's good too for him. but it doesn't work for everyone, unfortunately. I'm just going to add another idle animation here. We don't want an alert breathe, we want an... I think we'll do an idle snip around. So I'm just going to slide that one over until it just overlaps the previous animation up here. You got to shoot off early, Sniper Echo? No problem. Thanks for being here, buddy. You have a great week and weekend, and I'll see you again on Monday next week, Sniper Echo. Great weekend. You have a good night's sleep, because I know it's very early in the morning for you over there in Ireland. Mesh Fusion says Phil uses ZBrush to treat his anxiety. That's right, Mesh Fusion. You know how much I love the ZBrush program and that interface. That interface in ZBrush, wow. That gives me anxiety. Doesn't treat my anxiety, it gives me anxiety. Yep, you have a great weekend as well, Sniper Echo. Okay, so we are just transitioning our animation into an idle again. I'm not going to do any more alert look arounds. He's looked up once or twice. I think that's probably enough. I think we're just going to keep him eating his grass on the ground. So idle sat breathe, idle snip around. Which one was it? Idle snip around. Sat breathe or snip around? No, snip around. Again, I'm not overlapping this one because it's going to go from a snip around to a snip around animation, so no need to overlap them. We've got to go out to 10 seconds, so let's start from the beginning and look at the animation here. So he's going to start up, looking around, and then he's going to transition to a eating animation. That's what I'm calling it. And then he's going to transition into just an idle, and then he's going to transition into a standing up, but no look around. And then transition back down into an eating animation, an eating animation, and an eating animation, I think. We're still going to work on the second rabbit there. So eating animation, eating animation. And just what I've done here is I've extended the animation, so in effect I've slowed it down, simply because we were so close to the end of the timeline. I didn't want to load up another idle or another eating animation. I just slowed the last eating animation down, but because it's only by a small amount, you're not going to notice it. So we start the shot with him standing up and looking around because something's startled him and he wants to see what's going on. Wow. And then he sits down and starts eating. And that's just an idle animation. He stops eating for a second, then he stands up, doesn't look around, stands up and breathes, and he sits down and he starts eating again, and eating again, and eating again, because that's what bunnies do. They just eat and poo. I had a little rabbit as a pet, and it was a house pet, like sort of thing. He used to leave these little pellets all around the house. You knew where it was and where it had been. This is when I was a kid. I haven't had a rabbit for a while. So I think that's okay for this little fellow. He does his. We start him with him looking up and looking around, and he eats and he eats and he looks around and then he eats and he eats some more. That's cool. Let's do a save all here so we don't lose the animation we've done. We've applied. The Perfect Life Mesh Fusion says, yeah, if we could only all just eat and poop, wouldn't it be nice? We didn't have to worry about bills and work and the stresses of life. Just, happily sitting in a garden, eating and pooping. Forever. Eat, poop, sleep. That's right, Mesh Fusion. Eat, poop, sleep. Okay. Let us move to our second rabbit now. And I'm just going to add a second track, a second animation track. Come on, don't. We're going to start him with, he's going to be eating, because the other one starts standing up and looking around. So this one is going to be starting eating. I was wondering where it put my animation track. It slided all the way down the bottom there. It'll place the animation track wherever the position is in the timeline that you are. Now, so we're going to start him eating at the very beginning here. So he starts live eating. And then from eating, he is going to just do a comparison between him and the other one. Yeah, you're really annoying. Okay, so while the other one looks around, he eats. When the other one sits down to eat, we don't want them doing a tag team where one goes up and one goes down and one goes up and one goes down. We want it to look a bit more natural than that. So we're going to keep him eating again. So we'll add another eating animation. Which is, like, the animation is actually called sniffle around, but I call it eat. So he's going to be eating, constantly eating. Just looking at the other rabbit here, he stands up. So let's make this one stand up too, because maybe he sees the other one stand up. His friend has stood up and he's wondering what's going on, so he's going to stand up as well. So let's add our animation track here to the second track, and this one's going to be idle, alert, look around. So eating, idle, alert, look around, and he looks around. He goes back to eating. Mesh Fusion says maybe it's bunny mating season and they could be making the beast with two backs. You think they're making the beast with two backs? They wouldn't be family friendly though. It's nature though. It should be family friendly, but you never know. We won't have them make the beast with two backs, just to be on the safe side. And that's what bunnies constantly do as well. They eat, they poop, and they mate. That's why, breeding like rabbits, that's all they do. And sleep. So eat, poop, sleep, and mate. What a life. What a life. Okay, from his look around, he's going to go back to eating because that's what he likes to do. He's had a look around, he sees that everything's cool, so he wants to go back and eat some more. That's what he's going to do. Lucky bastards, that's right. If only we could all live the same way. Now let's compare the two rabbits so we can get a bit of make sure they're doing different things at different times and they don't look like they're repeating each other in their animation. Charlie's Dragon says, and they have litters of 5 or 6. Well, that's true too, yeah. And can have several litters in a year, so the rabbits, 2 rabbits can quickly become very many. That's true, I forgot about the multiple litter. How many they have in a litter as well, yeah. Charlie's Dragon says it's not necessarily that they mate a lot, they just reproduce quickly, and they have a larger litter, don't they? It's not like us where we only have one baby at a time, or maybe 2 or 3. They have quite a few. So he's eating, he's looking around. He goes back down to eat. He's still eating. Then he looks up and the other one looks up as well because what's going on here? What are you looking at? Is there trouble? Then he goes back down to eat. And then he goes back, he or she goes back down to eat. We're not going to be sexist here. It can be 2 he's, 2 she's, or a he and a she, I don't know. Then we're going to add another, then they're going to keep eating because, you know, that's what they like to do most of the time. So another eat animation. And I think they'll just keep eating, so I'm just going to extend this animation out to the end of the timeline. Okay. Let's pay attention to the left-hand viewport here because let me just zero out my timeline again. This is what the camera will see. Let me just make sure my end of my timeline is at 1,000. And I'm just going to play it through on a loop here. So our camera moves as our bunnies start eating, standing up, eating. That animation looked very quick. I'm just going to let it run through again and check that. So he looks around, he goes back down to eat. Then the other one will look around and he looks around. Yeah, that animation where he pops up and pops down is very quick. It could just be a result of the fact that it's not playing back in complete real time. Just the way that he pops up and down like that looked incredibly quick. So I'm just going to slow it down a bit here and play it through on a loop and check it. So down. And then he pops up and pops back down again. That's it. I'm talking about the rabbit here on the right hand side. The animation looks like he pops up and pops down very quickly. I think it's a little bit too quick. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slow that animation down. So it's this one here. And by slow, I'm going to drag it out to lengthen it a bit. Well, that of course means we have to move all of our other pieces down as well. So I'm going to shorten this one a little bit. Smurfberry says it's called RK selection theory, I believe. Spit out lots of disposable offspring so that some of them survive or have very few offspring, but you put lots of care into raising them. Yeah, I think you might be right. I'm just multi-selecting these by holding down the shift key, and I'm just going to drag it all the way down so it just overlaps a little bit here at the end. So now we've got our animation. So I've just slowed down that animation where he pops up, the one on the right hand side, because it was popping up too quickly. It didn't look natural. So let's play this through on a loop. But yeah, I think you are right, Smokeberry Barbecue. Lots of offspring because they realise that not all of them will survive, as opposed to few offspring that they nurture a little bit more. Charlie's Dragon says, like fish lay thousands of eggs, but only 1 or 2 will make it to adulthood if they're lucky, yeah. Smurpery says, rodents, insects, fish, amphibians are all on the R of the spectrum. Primates, whales, bears are closer to the K end. You sound like you know a lot more about it than I do, Smurpery Barbecue. I'll take your word for it. It makes sense. Sounds about right. Okay. Smurpery says, I read Wikipedia, so I'm an expert. Everybody knows everything on Wikipedia is always 100% correct. You can't go wrong on Wikipedia. Generally, Wikipedia is pretty good. I'm not bagging Wikipedia. The Living Dead. Thank you for the follow, The Living Dead. I do appreciate it, like I said, guys and girls, when you follow me on Twitch. So thank you, The Living Dead, for following Phil Does 3D. Smurpery says 80% of the time it's right, 100% of the time. There you go. That makes sense. I think our bunnies are probably not too bad. Again, I'm just going to let it play through on a loop a couple of times. We have a slow camera movement where we're just panning across a little bit. And this is the wide shot. We're going to get a close-up shot as well. So bunny moves, bunny stands up, bunny stands down, bunny stands down, bunny eats, bunny eats, bunny eats, bunny eats. And bunny eats, and bunny eats, and bunny eats. Bunny shadows. That's right. Yes, that's right. You see, actually, I didn't even notice that. You can see the shadows of the bunny, yeah. Gotta love a real-time 3D engine. At least I do. Because at the studio, I work with rendering all the time. We do renders of using V-Ray. I love the real-time engine. That instant feedback you get, just amazing. Love it. Which is why I understand why NVIDIA want to push real-time ray tracing, because that's the next step with their new RX cards. GeForce GRX or RX, or I think that's what they are. Okay, so that's fine. I think our bunnies are good. I don't think we need to do anything else. RTX, thank you, Smurpery Barbecue. The new NVIDIA RTX video card. It's just the start of the real-time ray tracing era that we're all going to be heading into now, which is a good thing, because our games are going to get a lot prettier eventually. It's going to take a while though. I wouldn't rush out and buy an RTX card now, because it's going to take a couple of years before companies use ray tracing all the time for their games. I think anyway. Your body is so ready, Smurfberry says. Yes, it will be interesting. Games are going to start getting incredibly realistic. Not that they're bad now. I mean, they're pretty realistic looking now. Today's modern AAA games. I mean, they fake it pretty well. Mesh says RTX is overpriced and ray tracing is a way off. I agree 100%. I wouldn't buy the current RTX cards. I think they're a bit overpriced, and you're not going to be able to take advantage of them for at least 12 months to 2 years. Not until the new generation of consoles that have ray tracing. Then games will start to flood. The floodgates will be open, and the devs will start making games using it. But until then, no. That and the fact too that I have a feeling NVIDIA will do a refresh of these cards this time next year in 2019. So they'll shrink it. They'll use the 7 nanometer process instead of the 12 that it's on now. That means that they'll be able to make them cheaper. So they should be able to sell them cheaper. They'll be cooler and use less power because of the die shrink. So my advice to people would be, if you need a new video card now and you're running something older, buy a 10 series card if you must. Like if you really want a new card, get a 1080 or a 1070 or whatever, because they're going to be a lot cheaper now, or wait until this time next year if you want to buy an RTX card when NVIDIA do a refresh on them. That's my fortune telling for the year. Like, I know no information. I'm just assuming. I'm pretty sure that's probably what they're going to do. Mesh says, we'll stay with GTX 1080 for a while, and GTX 1080 will serve you very well, don't worry. Mercury says, yeah, the die shrink will let them cram more transistors in there. My hope is that they'll really be gaining traction within 2 years. I have a feeling the new consoles are due around 2020. So I have a feeling around 2020 we'll start to see some really good games with ray tracing in them. Like, the floodgates will be open with the release of the new generation of consoles. So give it 2 years, and then look at buying one of the cards like the RTX cards. But certainly not at the moment. They're too expensive, and you're not going to be able to use them for what they were built for, because there aren't enough games that use ray tracing. And if they do use the ray tracing, it's going to slow the game right down, the current generation of RTX cards anyway. Unless you want to play it in like 1080p, maybe it'll be okay if you want to play in 1080p. Certainly not 144 frames a second though, which a lot of gamers like to play with now. Hold on, let's check Wikipedia, Mesh says. Alright, let's stop that there. Let's do a save all here. We haven't played with that depth of field yet, so we still have to do that. But I think we might call it a day, guys and girls, for today. We didn't get the cameras finished. We're going to have to finish them on Monday next week. There's only one more close-up camera and one more distant camera. My schedule is already thrown out in my events. Oh, well, what can I do? So, 2 cameras left. We'll do them on Monday next week when I return. I'll be back on live again on Monday at 5 p.m. Pacific next week. Remember, the catch-up streams are on a Friday and Saturday. If you missed the streams yesterday and today, you can watch them on Friday and Saturday at 2 p.m. Pacific time. If you're not sure, though, when I'm live, look for that counter in my panels below my stream. That tells you when I'm live next in your time zone. You can join the Phil Does 3D Discord server, of course, and also follow me on Twitter at Phil Does 3D, because I always post when I go live if you need a reminder that way. Smurfberry says, in my day we were happy with, I'm still happy with 30 frames per second, Smurfberry. And 1024, but no, I need the 4K gaming now, I need the 4K. But 30 frames a second 4K is fine with me. I'm happy with 30 frames. It's playable to me at 30 frames a second. I don't need 144 or 120 frames a second. I'm not a competitive first-person shooter gamer, so I don't need to get that high a refresh rate. You're quite welcome, Mesh Fusion. I hope you're feeling better soon, Mesh Fusion. I want to thank all you guys and girls for popping in and being here and watching. I really do appreciate it. I do want to thank again the Living Dead, Mundane Magpie, Mavira, and Kasparov Live as well for following the Phil Does 3D Twitch channel. Thank you guys for the follow. Thank you guys again for hanging out and being here, and hopefully I will see you guys on Monday next week. Have a great weekend, everyone.